we're going to segue into some short speeches by some of our luminaries in the environmental field that are working with us, and people will be coming here and just telling you a little bit about what they do. After that, we're going to be segueing into some other films, some world international films, one including the Amazonian tribe people, and Why Humans Are So Bad, a very interesting poem that was filmed about climate change, and then a film called Man vs. Earth, which is another small block of films we're going to be doing. We don't have guests for those films, but we will be here afterwards answering anybody's questions, and if anybody wants to add to our dialogue today, we certainly have a great panel of other experts here to talk about any climate-related issues you might want to speak to. So we are going to start this with our friend Dave Mitchell from the Citizen Climate Lobby. And Dave, if you can keep your talk a little bit concise, we have some people to get through today, but could you tell us what you do?
Yeah, basically I'm with Citizen Climate Lobby, Kansas City. We're one of 500 chapters nationwide. CCL was founded in 2007. We're nonpartisan and nonprofit. Ever since our founding, we've been focused on congressional passage of a carbon fee and dividend system, to rapidly reduce carbon emissions. The key features of that system is an annual increasing carbon tax that fossil fuel corporations pay on their products, and with a 100% dividend return to everyone in the form of a monthly dividend to afford the domestic living. We reach across a partisan divide with appreciation, gratitude, and respect, and we focus on being members of Congress through meetings, letter writing, almost 99,000 letters in 2019. We do annual lobby conferences in DC in November with lobby days to all the congressional offices. We write letters to the editor, op-eds. Over 100 cities have passed resolutions in support of carbon fee and dividend, including on Kansas City City Council in May of 2019, after an 18-month effort by local volunteers. CCL staff worked with members of Congress and their staff to create the Energy Innovation Carbon Dividend Act, which has been introduced in the House in 2019. If that were enacted, it would reduce carbon emissions 36 to 38% by 2030. Obviously, CCL supports that bill very strongly and is seeking political support for that bill. So all of our efforts are aimed to that. We approached Representative Cleaver in 2019, and he became the 60th co-sponsor for that bill, and there are 80 total co-sponsors. There's all sorts of a variety of volunteer opportunities available to fit anyone's schedule and ability to contribute. Our local website is kcccl.org, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/Citizen Climate Lobby Kansas City. And we are a proud sponsor of the Climate Council of Greater Kansas City. And thank you very much.
Wonderful, David. Thank you so much. And next we have Jesse Hill from the Sunrise Movement. We've been talking about that a bit. Angela Deng made a great film about the Sunrise Movement. Jesse Hill, what are you guys up to and how can we get involved?
First, I would like to acknowledge that I am currently on stolen Kickapoo, Osage, Kansas, and Sioux land. So I joined after the September 20th strike because I got a goal of being a farmer. And in the next 20 years, it's going to be kind of hard to grow crops, especially if our climate has been devastated the way it's currently going. During my time in Sunrise, I traveled to Iowa and got to stay with some other Sunrisers that had been up there for a couple months. I have also went up to Kansas and lobbied their politicians on the first day of office of their congressional session to get them to go ahead and work for a Green New Deal. And we got several Democrats to go ahead and sign on saying that they would pledge to work for a Green New Deal and not take any fossil fuel money. I started my own hub at Metropolitan Community College Longview. And I have met with Emmanuel Cleaver on 2 different occasions. along with some other Sunrisers. And I have filed to run for municipal office in my hometown. This is all coming from when I got politically activated on September 20th. That strike really was a very powerful time for me. And I got to learn what Sunrise was. It's a youth-led, inclusive, intersectional climate action group. So what that means is we're looking to set ourselves aside from other environmental organizations by calling for mass non-cooperation on January 20th of 2021 to ring in the decade of the Green New Deal, which aims to prioritize frontline communities who are suffering the most from climate and economic disasters. So decentralized and intersectional. So 3 people can act in the name of Sunrise. We've been up and running for a little over a year now, and we've got 300 hubs around the country. So yeah, intersectional, meaning that we acknowledge that this crisis is going to impact everyone in different ways. So yeah, we are big on voting. So we had several votes on different candidates to go ahead and endorse. We're currently going through the process of deciding who we're going to endorse for the House Representative District 25. And you can get involved with Sunrise by going to our open meeting, which is going to be tomorrow from 6 to 7:30. And there's also a Sunrise School that you get to pick whatever time you'd like to sign up for. That meets every day of the week, starting Tuesday and ending Friday of next week. That's just going to be like a general overview of what the Green New Deal is and how it's going to help us. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the links for that right there. So yeah, that's Sunrise Movement.
We really appreciate you being here today, Jesse. Thank you. Thank you for participating.
No problem.
Jim McGraw, a friend of ours who helped. Thank you so much, Jim, for helping organize this as well. It's from Bridging the Gap. Jim, could you tell us a little bit about Bridging the Gap and how we can get involved?
Yeah, yes, indeed. Thanks, Jerry. First of all, I'm a volunteer at Temple Green Team, and I'm a long-term volunteer with Bridging the Gap. So I want to briefly tell people a bit about Bridging the Gap and then how they can learn more and get involved. Bridging the Gap has been in the Kansas City area for over 28 years. They're a nonprofit environmental group that has received a lot of statewide and even national recognition for their programming. Some programming a lot of you are already familiar with is the extensive recycling centers they operate. They plant a lot of trees in urban areas. For example, in 2019, Bridging the Gap planted over 5,500 trees in the Kansas City area. They also do wildland restoration, litter pickup. They also work with individuals, organizations, and businesses to decrease their energy consumption and their waste stream. For example, I work at a local college, and many years ago, Bridging the Gap helped us develop a recycling program that has made a huge difference. So for anyone who has been inspired by these fantastic films, I would encourage them to think about taking action in a way that's very hands-on, very tangible, and it allows for some immediate gratification, such as planting trees or doing litter pickup. And I want to flash back to something David said earlier. He talked about acting local. And I think Bridging the Gap would be an opportunity to act local in a way that you're with other positive community members, and it actually builds hope. So you can visit their website by simply Googling Bridging the Gap, Kansas City. You can learn more about the programs, and then you can also learn about volunteer opportunities. Again, Google Bridging the Gap, Kansas City. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jim. I guess Pat Williams is our president of CinemaKC and was so amazingly instrumental in helping pull this together. Pat, thank you. I commend you for helping to get this together. We'd also like to thank our board members of CinemaKC, of course, for helping work on this as well. Pat is here representing not only us, but UNAGKC and ActNow. Pat, could you tell us a little bit about that?
I would be happy to. Thank you, Jerry. I'm also on the board of directors of the UNAGKC, which is the United Nations Association of Greater Kansas City. It's an organization that a lot of people don't know about. it is basically, it was begun to support the UN. It was begun at a time that the UN was defunded, and you know, a number of organizations throughout the country, UNA organizations, were begun. Again, nonprofit, non-governmental, but there to support the UN in its international missions. And so our website is UNA-KC.org. You can find out more about us there. We have a COVID-19 component page. And right now, that, of course, is overtaking the missions of a lot of organizations, the UNA as well as the United Nations. The United Nations is there to, first of all, support the World Health Organization in its mission to deliver health care during this time of crisis to the world. But there are a number of other programs that the UN is supporting. For instance, the waste management that comes along with COVID-19, and that is a component of the normal programs through the UN for waste management. It's a big problem in a lot of the world, and we participate in the Basel Convention and those guidelines that are created out of there that then are delivered to other countries as well as our own. The UN is also there trying to stop the illegal animal traffic, and many of you may have read about illegal animal traffic being a part of why this COVID-19 got a foothold, as well as the destruction of wildlife habitats. It's right in there on climate change and how COVID-19 possibly is an outgrowth of climate change and climate change issues. The green economy. The UN has water programs, also tremendously important during this time of COVID-19. And one of the programs that I want to tell you about is something called ActNow. You can go to the UN.org and look at their environmentalism initiatives. But ActNow is a personal program. It's bot-oriented. You set goals for yourself. You go in and you get rewards, and you essentially set a little schedule. It is a superb program for families who would like to get everybody in the family involved, do it with some very simple education and very simple personal step kinds of initiatives. There's an Angry Birds element to it that comes in if you want to, you know, really engage the kids. And again, that is at un.org, and we are at UNA-KC.org. I really urge you to check us out.
Thank you so much, Pat. We will.
Thank you.
And again, thank you for helping get this together. Man of the hour, Bob Grove. Thank you so much, Bob, for doing all this. Very great event, and we really appreciate it. Can you tell us what you're doing over at the Climate Council of Greater Kansas City?
Well, absolutely, and I want to thank you for being here. It's just a wonderful addition to our EF20 online schedule. All day yesterday we had events, all afternoon today we have further events from several of the people you just heard from. So please stay with us all afternoon, connect with the events are important to you. Starting Monday, we're doing our Sustainable Living series, and this is a 5-part series. These will be the evenings throughout the week. These series focus on what we as individuals can do. So actions we can take even now under the shutdown. So please join us for those. That entire series will be repeated Sunday afternoon. That's Sunday the 26th. So all 5 parts will be run from 1 to 6, 7, whatever that is. A couple of other exciting events I want to mention, and this actually involves Bridging the Gap and our partners, Buddhist Temple and such. There's a Building a Home Forest, Reversing Global Warming Yard by Yard event on Wednesday, Earth Day. April 22nd at 3 p.m. And this is going to explore how we as individuals can actually put a forest in our backyard and sequester carbon. And, you know, it's a small thing if we do that individually, but if enough of us get together, we can have a massive impact on the environment. So please join us for that. And most importantly, Unity Temple and Bridging the Gap are going to be providing trees for free. So join us for that event and learn how you can safely and with social distancing go pick up those trees so you can start your home forest now during the stay-at-home order. And then that evening, we're doing a live broadcast event. KKFI will be broadcasting an event produced by American Public Square. And this is a panel discussion, and American Public Square specializes in unlike-minded people, bringing them to the table and letting them express different opinions on issues, in this case, climate change, but bringing different opinions of climate change to the table and working together to find out what we have in common. Climate Council is also a nonpartisan organization, so I think it's very important that we bring everybody to the table to discuss how we stop climate change and how we protect our people. Climate change and these weather disasters don't care if you're Republican or Democrat or anything else. They're going to affect all of us equally. So it's very important that we all come together. So please join us for that KKFI broadcast interactively here on this network. So you can be part of the discussion. Your Q&A will go to this interesting variety of people with fact checkers and roving reporters. So that's an exciting event. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at upcoming events. Jerry?
Thank you. We look at that too. Thank you so much, Bob. And Victor, thank you for your participation as well from the Temple Buddhist Center and Unity Temple. We're going to enter another segment here of some more films that we've brought for you. These are international films. We don't have the guests here with us on this Zoom call, but we will hopefully have a dialogue afterwards. If anybody is interested, we'll be sticking around for that. So if you have questions or something you want to comment on after this block of films, please join us. Again, you can also go to CinemaKC.com if you're having any trouble experiencing the feed here. We have the links there available for you to stream. But we will be meeting back here at 2:30, and we hope you come back. And if you have anything to add or say about any of this discussion or any of these films, we'd love to hear from you. Once again, we are CinemaKC.com, and we really appreciate everybody's participation and involvement here. Very inspiring. Thank you. So if you could sit back with us and watch these next batch of films, I think you're going to really enjoy them. Come back with us at 2:30, and we'll see you back here, hopefully. Thank you.